Bitcoin explodes to 50K, new high for 2024. So good morning, good evening, crypto astronauts, depending on where you're tuning in from. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Bitcoin and crypto paradise. Now, first off, this is not financial advice. None of this content is investment advice. This content is intended for entertainment purposes only. But I'm going to show you some really interesting things today. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and we're going to talk about the altcoin market. So Bitcoin is now peaking out at $50,000. We got all the way up to 50,276. We could go a little further. We will see. This is exciting times in the market. You can see the blue chart here is the altcoin market, the altcoins that are excluding Ethereum and Bitcoin. And the altcoins are now hitting a new high for this year as well. Now I want to show you something really interesting. If we go back and we look at a Bitcoin distribution pattern that we had back in 2021, we could be in a similar place. As you can see here, Bitcoin in 2021 shot up to 58,200. Then we corrected down and we headed back up a little higher to 61,000. Similarly, recently in January, we headed up to 49,000. We corrected and now we're heading back up past 50,000. So if we are repeating a distribution pattern like we did back in 2021, we could see something like this where we head up maybe a little bit further than we are now. Then we correct down, say to the mid 40s, 42, somewhere around there. We could be heading up another time. Or if in this case, if we're looking like this one, there is also a chance that we're hitting a peak here and we could fall off afterwards. I think this model is a little less likely. I'm thinking it could play out more like this. Now I want to show you some really interesting things with the altcoin market. So this is the altcoins, the blue line here. This is what we saw back in 2021, and we could potentially, this isn't guaranteed, but we could potentially be seeing something similar. As you can see, back in 2021, we're peaking out around this area here, and that was right when Bitcoin peaked at 58,000. Then we corrected down pretty considerably, but altcoins just went down a little bit, and then Bitcoin headed back up to a higher high, a higher all-time high, around 61,000, and altcoins headed up a bit further. Then Bitcoin corrected again, and the altcoins, what they did was they went up a little bit and they back tested this line here before they went up much higher. Then what we saw Bitcoin bounce off to a higher low, and then it went up to a higher high and it peaked out even higher around 64,000. What did altcoins do? They just went on a rampage. Altcoins went up all the way up to a peak here before then Bitcoin went down again and altcoins corrected and made a much higher low. Before the final peak, they went off on another crazy run. And one thing that's really interesting, if you look at Bitcoin hit its all-time high peak here. Altcoins hit a peak, and then Bitcoin broke its higher low. It made a lower low, and then it made a lower high, which was lower than this peak right here. Whereas the altcoins hit a peak here, they hit a higher low still, and they went much higher. So when Bitcoin hit a lower low, the altcoins made a higher high and peaked out here. If we see this repeat, I'm going to take this pattern and bring it to where we are now. If this basic pattern repeats, we could see we go up to maybe around 51,000. We correct down to 41,000 around there, and then we head up back up to 54,000, let's say. Correct down to 38,000 before we hit a lower peak with Bitcoin around 50,000, where we are now, before we head back down. And in this case, if this pattern repeated, that's an if, this is not guaranteed. If this pattern repeated, what we could see with the altcoins is they go up a little bit, they back test this area, Then they head up much further, and then they correct down. And then here's the interesting thing. As Bitcoin hits a lower high, we could see altcoins peak out around here. Now this would be a local peak. It would not be an all-time high for alts most likely. And of course, none of this is guaranteed. It's just based off of if Bitcoin repeats this type of distribution model that we saw in 2021. Now I want to go back and look at the timing aspect. How long did this pattern take here back in 2021? From the first peak to the final. Let's go to the final altcoin peak here. We took 82 days. We could try this. We could try from the first peak of the altcoins. That's about here. We go 82 days. That takes us out to March 23rd. So potentially March 23rd, what I'm thinking is we could see altcoins peaking locally, not an all-time high, but a peak before they correct back down. If we just look at the Bitcoin peaks from the first peak to the final peak before it started correcting back down, it was 78 days. Then where we are today, we get this peak here. We go 78 days. That could take us out to March 29th, where we potentially get the final Bitcoin peak. Now that would be a lower high. If we want to calculate when is the Bitcoin local peak, that would take us about 52 bars. And if we repeat that again, we go 52 days. That would take us out to March 3rd. It's coming up very soon. We could be peaking out with Bitcoin. If we look at the Bitcoin astrology, we are getting a couple negative transits that are happening on the full moon. And typically the markets have a local bottoming out formation on the full moon. However, we are also getting this positive sun sextile to Bitcoin Mars, so it might not be too bad. In this case, we could see a local bottom around February 24th, around that full moon, before we head back up, and we maybe make another high. The idea that we could then head down and create a lower peak here, a lower high before we potentially correct back down again, lines up pretty well with the astrology, because in April we're seeing some negative astrology, so it's definitely possible. For those of you who are interested in getting private support, harness the power of astrology to create a winning crypto plan for 2024. Now in this session we're going to do a deep dive. I'm going to look at your personal astrology chart. I'm also going to look month by month at the Bitcoin astrology for 2024. And then align that with your personal astrology. I can look at your personal astrology themes that I'm seeing month by month for 2024. It's a lot of fun. I can identify auspicious times for you to make important decisions in your life, in your crypto investments, whether that's to buy or sell. That's your choice. It's not financial advice. But I can look in the entirety of 2024 for your personal astrology, what themes I'm seeing for you in your life. Maybe you're potentially to move, or maybe you're selling a house. I can help you with big decisions, as well as your crypto investments. The purpose of this session is to help you thrive during the greatest wealth building opportunity of our lives, sharpen your crypto investment mindset, and profit during the next crypto bull run. You can book your session just by clicking here. And then on the checkout page, make sure to type in the special coupon code to the moon. Included in this amazing session is a personalized natal chart astrology reading, and additionally a Bitcoin astrology analysis for 2024, so you can be well prepared with your crypto strategy. A basic profit-taking strategy. This is what many people miss, so that you can avoid losses and benefit from the next crypto bull run. Most people miss this. Most people don't have a profit-taking strategy, so what happens? They repeat what happened in 2021, 2022, where they just hold all their crypto and they watch it tank 10x, 20x. They lose all of those gains. How would you like it to go back to 2021 to actually take profits, so that you could then buy in on this next bull run. Bonus number 3, you'll also get first month's access to my private curated Crypto Astro Mastermind, which is coming soon. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is what I'm seeing. This is not financial advice. Once again, I'm not a financial advisor. Make your own investment decisions. Crypto is, of course, a risky investment. Make sure that your mindset and your emotional intelligence is well prepared for these ups and downs in the market. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, definitely subscribe, like this video, share it with a friend, family member who may benefit, and I'll see you on the next video.